Hello everybody! LegendBTV here, back with a new video. Today guys, we're reviewing the newest album from Steve Aoki called KOLONY. Steve Aoki, this is his 4th record. He is a big name DJ that has worked with a lot of acts, and apparently now he's taking a hip-hop approach to this record, and let's see how it turned out. First of all, I want to talk about the other records. His first album, Wonderland, I actually have never heard, but I've heard decent things about it, I guess. His second album, Neon Future Part 1, was alright. It actually started off pretty good with some great production and nice beats, but unfortunately turned into a pile of commercial EDM garbage, and all the songs sounded the same and everything towards the end of the record, and it just got really sickening to listen to. I was just kind of like, ugh. It's one of those things I just got sick of pretty fast, and the record kind of got dull by the end of it. I just kind of got really bored. It's just kind of a mainstream poppy EDM record that it was alright, but it wasn't great. And yeah. Same thing goes for part 2, except this time, like, I really didn't like a lot of the drops, like, at all. And yeah, it kind of really wasn't that good, really. But I didn't really like the Neon Future Part 2. But Steve Aoki did win me over in 2016 when he released singles like Can't Go Home with him and Adam Lambert. And that song was awesome. I love that song a lot still to this day. And also Back to You featuring Walk the Moon and Bohem. That song was awesome as well. Had a really nice drop. It was really catchy and earworm infectious melody, and God, I love that song still. And only heaven knows how much I love that song, for real. Dang. And then we got this single, Just Hold On, by him and Louis Tomlinson. It was the breakout of Louis Tomlinson, star of One Direction. Honestly, that one wasn't as good, but I still liked it, and I still thought he was going in a good direction with his music. Unfortunately, then we got Without You by Steve Aoki, Dubs, and 2 Chainz. This song, unfortunately, started the marketing for this new record, which was a new hip-hop approach to Steve Aoki's music, and I honestly wasn't a fan of that at all. I thought the production was kind of lifeless and boring, and I thought it was just him pandering to the crowd that loves hip-hop, because hip-hop is 2017's version of EDM basically nowadays. Like 2014 was when the EDM was on the charts a lot, and then now in 2017 it's just hip-hop basically. So yeah, really honestly I'm just not really in love with a lot of this hip-hop stuff dominating EDM nowadays. Like, electronic music is a lot better to me when it's just electronic. But honestly though, I still wanted to give this new record a chance, so how'd it go? Honestly guys, I didn't really enjoy this record. There's a lot of things that are kind of wrong with it. Honestly, I'll just start with the fact that it's forgettable. It's just really generic trap, EDM, if you can call it that, hip-hop music. With, I mean, like, all kinds of guest features from, like, Lil Yachty and Gucci Mane and everything else, T-Pain. I mean, really, it's not the fact that it's hip-hop that bothers me, even though hip-hop, and to me, is not as good as EDM, in my opinion. I'm not really that big a fan of hip-hop. And also, really, it's just the fact that it's just not a very well-constructed album. It's not, you know, well-produced, really, at all. It just sounds generic. It sounds like what every other hip-hop producer is. I mean, like Mustard and everything else. Yeah. Honestly, the record just doesn't have much of a redeeming quality, like, at all. Nothing stands out. And, I mean, half of the trap percussion segments are just the same. I mean, a lot of this record sounds the same, and a lot of the collaborations are unimpressive, just sound like a cash grab to me, and this whole record pretty much sounds like that, just a cash grab to earn Steve Aoki some more fame in America, and just pretty much abandon his EDM style because it's not as popular in the mainstream anymore. But that's just kind of sad to me. I mean, a lot of this record is just very useless. It's very lifeless. Lots of the beats are dull, and also it transitions into like these kind of drops. It kind of feels like he's still doing his EDM stuff, although it just sounds so awkward. Like, it really sounds like, especially the one with Yellow Claw, it really just sounds so awkward and just disjointed and everything, and it just sounds like he's trying to like infuse an EDM drop in a lot of these songs, but it doesn't really just work right for me. This record just doesn't click with me at all, and I'm really not liking it at all. I think it's actually, you know, and I think it actually sucks, to be honest. I feel like Steve Aoki could do a lot better, but he chose not to. He chose to play it extremely safe with this record, and honestly, I just don't feel like there's much of an audience for this record, too. I mean, like, it's too hip-hop for the pop stations. It's too hip-hop to be EDM. It's too messy. It's too sloppily produced. It just feels thrown together for mainstream a mainstream crowd in America that really he just doesn't have. I mean, there wasn't really much of a build-up for this album. There wasn't really many reviews on iTunes, wasn't really many people talking about it, and it just kind of feels like he was ripping off Calvin Harris as well. It wasn't like he was the only DJ this year to actually throw together a project like this with a lot of big-name rap stars and everything else, and yeah, I mean, he really wasn't the first guy to do this. Calvin Harris did it, and I mean, I will say he did a lot better with Funk Wave Bounces Volume 1, and this record just feels like an extremely pale imitation of that. A very, very pale imitation. Boring beats, colorless production, you know, throwaway guest verses. Sorry guys, this record just really isn't for me at all. I mean, a lot of the melodic structures are painfully uninventive, and really just nothing on this record's original at all. I mean, like, I've heard of unoriginal music, but I mean, this is just like honestly Chainsmoker levels of uninventive. I mean, this is so bad, and I mean, like, even, you know, the fact that it disappointed me because Steve Aoki could do better, and he's proven that with these 2016 singles that I loved. I mean, they weren't just trying to cater to a mainstream crowd. They weren't really that popular, but they were great. So nonetheless, they were great songs that I still come back to this day and I still love. Mainly Back to You. That song is fantastic, but yeah, 2017, unfortunately, we kind of lost him. And once again, I'm not saying this because he changed styles. It's not about him changing styles at all. I honestly respect the fact that he chose to change styles. It's just the fact that it was poorly executed. His new style was poorly executed. It seemed like a cash grab to me, and it feels like just a mainstream attempt at an audience, like I said, he just doesn't have. Not very many people that I know listen to Steve Aoki, and not very many people, well, like, if you asked who he was, would even know who he is. I mean, like, even like his song with Louis Tomlinson, which, you know, was a big hit apparently on the radio, which, I mean, like, honestly, it was like played some, but really not that much, and nobody knows that song for Steve Aoki. It seems like everyone's like, oh, it's Louis Tomlinson, and I just want to break a window when I hear that, because it's Steve Aoki, guys. Steve Aoki and Louis Tomlinson, they're both together in the song. He produced it, Louis sang it, so yeah. But anyways, though, mainly back to the record, though, there's really not much that stands out at all. I mean, like, you know, there's, you know, your generic rap subjects like Getting Money, aka tracks like Been Ballin' and 4 Million, how they're spending all kinds of money. You know, there's tracks like Lit, where like it just gets lit and everything. Like, God, I mean, a lot of the lyrics on this record too are painfully uninventive and generic. Just the same rap cliches over. It feels like all kinds of rap cliches thrown together into one crappy album that only just wanted some commercial success, and I just feel like you can't really listen to a project like this unless you're a huge fan of rap. I really can't see many people listening to a project like this and really enjoying it all the way through. I feel like it's just maybe a few average singles mixed with a whole album of boring filler. A lot of the beats are boring. I mean, like, anyone can do this. Anyone can do this album. I mean, so much wasted potential. Steve Aoki, let's hope your 5th album is better, because this one just not very good at all. I'm thinking a strong 3 out of 10, and yeah, not a recommendation at all. This album is trash. Anyways, though, I'm LegendBTV. Thank you for watching my review. Please go subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll also take down the fake LegendBTV. I am so mad about that. Please subscribe and share my channel, though, and enjoy the video. Thank you. Well, I mean, enjoy the video. It's already over, but yeah, whatever. See you guys.